Hey, and welcome back to Coffee Break with the Chamber Chicks, where the coffee is strong and the conversations are stronger. I'm Kayla, and today we're talking internships. Not the kind where you fetch coffee and file papers all day. We are breaking down what a good internship really looks like, why it's a win-win for businesses and students, and how to set one up without losing your mind. Then stick around because we are flipping the mic to chat with our rock star intern Amelia, who has been part of our chamber family for over a year. So grab your cup of coffee and let's get into it. Hey everybody, I'm Kayla and welcome back to Coffee Break with the Chamber Chicks. Today we're talking about internships and we are so excited. This is going to be a little bit different setup than we normally have. So we're going to start out with just me asking Beth a couple questions about internships.
They shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Well, I had to keep you on your toes.
That's
you know?
right.
You think I'm going to zig? A zag. I mean, a zoom, zoom, zoom.
We always keep you on your toes. So in case you wondered, it's now.
So let's talk about internships. Before we really start talking about it, when you hear the word intern, what comes to mind?
Listen, she just dove right in. True confession is that we have been up since very, very early this morning, and we were on the radio.
That is true.
And then we had to.
If you're watching this video,
this is what our day looked like. So this is chamber life in a nutshell. Up stupid early and on the radio with Dean Dyer.
Under our
Listen,
eyes.
Exhausted. Props to Dean though. This guy's up at 4:30 every morning.
And we were late, and we didn't even have to be there before that.
I mean, I don't know how he does it. Anyway, super early for the radio show. Then we had to go to the high school and tour the Performing Arts Center. Then we went and visited some chamber members when you live in the rainforest of Georgia, it rained on us on the way back. And so, we've had a bit of a day. Yeah. Not complaining, just saying.
We just look like a little bit of a hot mess.
We haven't had
enough coffee, so it seems
have
like
not had enough
we're
coffee.
a little bit than we are.
I think I've only had half a cup.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that's a warning label for this episode. It's gonna get crazy. Who could say? So
anyway, interns.
When you think of the word intern, what comes to mind?
So I know a lot of people when I talk to them about interns in the workplace and things like that, they go, I just do not have time to babysit somebody and show them how to do all the things. And that's not really what an internship needs to be. You're not babysitting somebody. This is an opportunity for you to show your business, your industry to someone coming up and could make a potential great employee, a great staff person. Mm-hmm. So really the perspective, especially when I talk to you guys who are in manufacturing or fast-paced service-related business, you think, I just don't have time for an intern. But it's amazing. It will...
if done correctly.
If done well, it can be very good. Very, very good.
So why should somebody think about taking on an intern?
I always tell people to think about it as you're growing a new part of the community, right? You really want to give this student, whether it's a high school student or a college student, an opportunity to understand what business is like in White County. And I talk to a lot of businesses about succession planning and things like that. This is part of that. You need to make sure that people understand your business so that you can build a quality group around you to grow your business. There is no way to grow unless you can scale. So this is part of the conversation around scalability.
So you talked about it earlier a little bit about I don't have time for intern.
I get that every time.
What is
always the first response?
What's the difference between a real internship and just giving a student busy work?
I mean, that's the best question. An internship is not busy work. It is not the person.
It's not getting your coffee for you.
Because we get our own coffee. It's not fast enough. We need more coffee. But yes, an intern is not somebody doing busy work. This is somebody you need to show and teach the steps of your business. Sometimes it's an opportunity for somebody to find out. I'll give an example. My son thought he wanted to be an attorney. And so he interned with a local attorney in Gainesville. And he saw parts of that job that he didn't understand. And it really changed his trajectory for his career. And he just realized there were parts of family law that his personality wasn't going to be good with. And so sometimes it helps our students weed out things that are not good fits, but it also helps them find really great places. Well, like our business here at the Chamber, it's hard to explain to people what we do. People who've known us for decades have a hard time. My own father-in-law, y'all, if I hadn't told you this story, he thinks I sign children up for football. So he's pretty sure I work for Park and Rec. But God love him. He's 87 years old. We're going to let him say what he wants to say. But it's hard to explain what you do in your business. It's hard for us to explain what we do in our business. But if you give that intern an opportunity to get some exposure, you may find an absolutely amazing employee in addition to your group. I'm here for it.
How should businesses think about structuring an internship? Like, what kind of framework should they be thinking about? So if they're not just getting your coffee, what sort of things, what framework and goals should you have?
So you need to think about what are the absolute most basic skills you need for an intern. Don't bring somebody in who doesn't fit your business, doesn't fit. They need some absolute core skills before they come in. Then you need to think about how to grow those skills. You really think this should be something you're talking about growing all of your employees. But for an intern, start with the most basic skills, and then how do you build on those? How do you take someone who is very welcoming? Maybe you're in a doctor's office and you need some reception type work, or any kind of service where you need some reception type work. While this person may be open, maybe they don't have great phone skills. Maybe they don't have great writing skills. You need to sort of polish those. So have a plan, one, on what your basic skills that you need for that position are, and two, how are you going to grow those? And we don't mind. I'm happy to sit down and talk with our businesses about how to develop out both a job description. You have got to have a job description for your intern, because if you can't communicate to them where they start and where they're headed, then you're going to have somebody who just has the capability of running coffee. That'll be it. Absolutely. That's all you ever get out of it. Yeah. And you need to plan to pay them. I know y'all don't want to hear it. I know you're mad with me saying that. Internships are not necessarily free. And sometimes you get what you pay for.
I was just about to say that. So
that covered what you were asking?
That covered it, yeah. But we're not done yet.
I love you.
That's
I'm just being real.
We're still going. You thought that this was going to be quick and easy. No, we're still going. We have been lucky enough to have a front row seat to what an amazing, great intern looks like. Thanks to our current intern, Amelia, who is our marketing intern. So now we are going to have Amelia come join us, and she is going to tell you a little bit about her experience as an intern, and we're going to talk a little bit about what that looks like here at the Chamber, and maybe some of that can help you. So everybody, welcome Amelia Kennedy.
Yay! Amelia, hey!
Hey!
Just so y'all are in case y'all are wondering, she hates every bit of this, but we love her, and she loves us, so she'll sacrifice.
Being in front of the camera.
Yeah, she's used to being behind the camera, so I don't know how cool you are with being in front of it, but thank you for getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's kind of been our motto for your internship, is out of your comfort zone. I think.
Yeah, I've done a bit of everything.
So
also, we did not give Amelia any of these questions beforehand, so what you're about to witness is the raw, uncut Amelia.
So, Amelia, take us back to the beginning. How on earth did you decide you wanted to intern with the Chamber?
So I originally heard about the internship through Kathy London, the work-based learning teacher at White County High School. Dr. Lindsay had sent me the internship because Kathy had asked Dr. Lindsay if she had any open positions or whatever for marketing students, and she was like, Amelia would be good for this. So she sent it on over. I filled out the application, and then I emailed Beth, and I was like, I'm interested, and then we set up an interview time, and so that's really how it got started.
So, and if you don't know, Amelia technically started interning when she was a junior in high school. So she has been with us a little bit over a year now.
And we're so lucky.
Yes. So, what were you expecting this internship to be like when you first applied or even first started? What did you expect?
I expected a lot of like social media, like graphic designing, all of that. Probably a lot of networking because I could tell there was definitely like a lot of businesses. So I would probably have to meet a lot of people, and that's true.
That's the case.
I didn't expect as much how much we are like together, like we're a family. I didn't expect that as much. I didn't know how.
Are you mad?
No, I'm not mad. No, I'm not mad.
I mean, because it's been a year.
She would have quit by now.
You could have said so. No, I'm kidding.
Excuse the thunder.
Yeah, we're also in the
The
middle of
lightning's
another.
3 miles away.
Okay.
What else? I didn't expect as much video stuff as we integrated, and I think y'all really customized that to my interests, so I really appreciate that. And then when people ask me what I'm doing, I'm like, a little bit of everything, but they also really catered to what I'm interested in and how that can also benefit the chamber at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that was very cool and smart on both accounts.
Mm-hmm. And so, and I'm sure I've told you this, but in case our friends out there don't know, we added the podcast because you came around.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It was
wanted to do it for a while,
we
but
wanted to do
know.
it, and we couldn't figure out how to do it. And you were like, well, yeah, that's not hard. Let me, and you did. I mean, you were like, took an iPhone, and we had our first podcast.
Yeah.
We've gotten slightly better over the course of the
I would say that we got a little bit better.
I forget what question are we on. Oh, this one actually done?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tell us a little more. Well, she kind of said that.
Yeah. Amelia has answered all of our questions.
And we're done.
Been knowing.
What parts of your intern experience have you really enjoyed the most?
I would have to say the part I've enjoyed the most is the people.
Aww.
Because,
So cute.
like I said, we're a big family. So we text each other every single day, and we send each other reels at like 12 o'clock in the middle of the night, and Kayla's like, go to bed. Anyways, so definitely the little family that we have. I really enjoy meeting all the businesses and getting to know everybody, even though sometimes I forget names. That's just
There's a lot of them out there.
That's just my fault.
A lot of members.
I also enjoy like the videoing the content, like we did last year's White County Works.
Those were good. Those were so good.
I thought that was enjoyable, getting to like go in depth and see what they do every day. Mm-hmm. I mean, I really enjoy everything we do. Like there's not something that I'm like, I hate that. Yeah, even though a little bit of accounting I did at the beginning, like I enjoyed that too. So like
Amelia has had a well-rounded internship experience when she started. She did get to do some bookkeeping stuff. Mm-hmm. You have
done it all.
every side of this
She's
chamber,
been in our strategic planning sessions.
Uh-huh.
You've seen
the good, the bad,
there's
and the
literally
ugly.
the only thing you haven't worked on with me was accreditation and budgeting, but that's
Which
I
is
just
another
overhear the stuff. I'm okay.
yeah, it's okay.
Which is another part of, I think, having an intern that a lot of people overlook. They don't show the good and the bad and the ugly, so to speak. They want to be like, okay, here's this thing. But, if that's not really a good representation of your... I think people can get skewed perceptions if they're just... And same with the bad. If the intern is only making coffee
doing the crappy
and not
stuff.
doing anything that's a good representation of that business,
And work is always going to be work. There's going to be some part of it that isn't like fabulous and you just really rush in the morning to do that. But there's always going to be some aspect of that. So it's just about being real and having a clear plan. That's good.
So
I can't even.
when I wrote this question out, Beth and I were kind of laughing. And I'll read the question and then we'll talk about why we're laughing. Was there anything that surprised you about working in a professional setting? And I use quotation marks because while we are a little bit more professional than some settings, we're also a lot less less professional, but
we do enjoy a good theme.
I mean, we're not wearing suits to work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're not.
But we will wear flapper dresses.
That is true. And
NASCAR.
Maybe let's say, what was there anything that surprised you about working in a professional-ish setting? Okay, let's add the ish on the end of it.
I mean, we do this as a profession. I guess that's professional enough.
Well, I did another internship, and that one might have been a little bit more professional. Yeah. But one thing, like, professional-ish here is probably the amount of phone calls we get about random stuff.
Oh, we get some crazy.
Like,
we need to do a whole podcast on the
Yeah.
craziness. This is the craziest idea I can think of. Let me call the chamber.
yeah, and, like, things I'm like, well, let me ask Google, because I don't know. So that surprised me a lot. Again, like the flapper dresses.
Did that really surprise you?
The amount of costumes.
There's no other like industry that holds really big events, and it's such a theme, I guess. Mm-hmm. Like they'll have events, but not to that extent of a theme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're committed to a theme.
So that was professional-ish.
Depending on what your profession is.
I guess. I don't know.
She's like, nicely, how do I say this? You're not professional.
That is not what I'm
So
saying.
your other internship was more professional?
Well,
she
I was
was
only there for 2 weeks.
But she was at a very big construction company.
Oh, I thought you meant the one that you did in the spring.
No.
That's
No,
like
no.
the least.
At a very big construction company in another city. She did
Oh.
wink, wink, you know? You know what I'm talking about.
I see you, Brian.
So
But I was only
that
there,
internship.
Yeah, I was only there for 2 weeks.
So it's like a job shadow kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was my sophomore year, so
They're different. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different city.
Yeah.
Total
Yeah.
different vibe.
Different
First internship, I was really dressing the part.
Mm-hmm.
I was really dressing the part.
No, you did great.
You still dressed the part here. She looks so cute.
I know. I'm not even going to talk about her amazing shoe collection. She got great shoes. Okay, all right, we're moving on. How do you feel about this? How do you feel that this internship has helped prepare you for life after high school?
First thing, again, networking. I feel like I know everybody now. Like,
Yeah.
if I need something printed, know who I'm going to. If I need something filmed or done that I can't do, I know him. Like, I know my people now, and I know where I'm going.
Guy.
Yeah, I know a guy now. Just ask. That, and then I feel like also, like, professional skills. Like, even though I had developed some of those skills, like, I've gotten better at, like, phone calls, emails. Like, even if you feel like you know something, you can always learn more and practice more, and that's through an internship. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I've learned a lot. Learned a lot about social media. I like watching trends, and me and Kayla be like, look how good this video's doing. Like, that one's doing awful. Yeah. And we're like, I don't know why.
I'll say, like, just from the outside looking in, one thing, you were talking about the phone calls and things like that, and I think a lot of people, especially, like, younger, I mean, even, like, people my age, they don't want to talk on the phone, which I don't know why, because I love to talk on the phone.
We love to talk.
But, yeah, that's true.
You say so much.
Yeah.
I hate it when people say that.
But, like, so a lot of people don't have good phone skills,
Yeah.
you know, and, I mean, I can't tell you how many interviews I've listened to Beth do on the phone, and they literally sound like they just rolled out of bed or something.
Yeah.
And so and not that you ever had bad phone skills, but I've even seen you in the time that you've been here, your phone skills, like, get so much better because you're in even though it's not like professional, like we're not in Atlanta or something, you're in a more professional-esque setting. So you have but you have grown a lot even in the way, even in your phone skills.
And that's when you're looking at an intern, that's a practice thing. You get that from practice.
Right.
And I think about things that I learned in my first jobs, like how to give directions somewhere, right? You don't think about it, you just drive there, right? And then when you have to convey that to another person, it's just a practice thing.
And it's really hard to practice even in school. Because what are they going to do? Tell you to call random businesses and talk to them about random stuff?
That is not a
you
school
can't
thing.
do that. You have
and
to
fielding questions, you know, like people just, there's no other than at their
to do it.
place of business that they would be fielding questions or trying to formulate a response that sounds a little nicer, even if they want to be like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. How do you politely say that? You know?
Yeah.
No. The call for the guy who needed directions to downtown Mossy Creek blew
That
my
one was one of my
mind.
favorites, yeah. I was like, well, I guess I live downtown Mossy Creek. I didn't... Okay. Well, Amelia, what advice would you give to a student who's considering doing an internship of any sorts?
Just do it. Like, don't apply for it, interview for it, practice your interview. you can practice your interview with your parents. You can practice with ChatGPT at this point because it'll ask you interview questions. Just apply for it, interview well or as well as you can,
Practice.
and then hopefully you land it. And then just be willing to learn in your internship also, and be willing to take advice. Like just be willing to be open to anything. Learn new things.
You'll never know what you're going to find.
Yeah.
Life's like a box of chocolates or something.
And to wrap up, Beth, what is your advice to a business that you think is maybe on the fence about starting an internship?
Well, I gotta say, Amelia's answer was great. I would say the same thing. Be open, right? Have a plan. Have a job description for your intern. Don't just say, I have an internship. No. Stop there. Give me a list of skills that you need that person. Absolute. And you got to think super basic. You have to think very, very basic skills. And one of them needs to be the willingness to learn, right? But then you need a job description and talk about where that you have an opportunity for that intern to grow. And I think that's where we had success with you, Amelia, is because the knowledge that you had, you were able to apply here. It helped the organization grow, and it helped you grow in those skills that you had a base level knowledge of, but also really help develop a portfolio of things for you so that you can show, look, now I've done a podcast and I've done all these video series and things like that. So
a mutually beneficial relationship.
Absolutely.
And I think that's exactly what an internship should be, because that's one thing that people overlook.
Yeah, every
that it's
relationship.
That's either like, oh, we're babysitting to help this kid out, or this kid is here to do everything for us. But it has to be beneficial for everybody. It's not going to work.
Yeah,
everyone's just going to be mad at everyone.
And their skills, even if your intern doesn't pan out to be, a lifelong or a long-term employee, there are skills that we can learn in every job. And if you think about it, in your first jobs, there were skills that you learned that you carried into every job ever since. Because I don't care what you do, you're still dealing with people, and you still have to hone those skills. And the only way to do it is just to do it. So, yep. And if you need some help, your favorite chamber chicks are here to help you.
That's right. But before we finish, because we've never had Amelia on the podcast, Amelia, what is your go-to coffee order?
Probably a caramel latte, iced.
Iced.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Listen, we stay drinking caramel lattes. Big.
We'll run out of caramel syrup.
Yeah.
I was talking about that today. We need to order more
we're
caramel
almost
syrup.
out.
Okay.
Well, anyways, thank you for joining Coffee Break with the Chamber Chicks, with your favorite Chamber Chicks all together without Amelia behind the camera.
Now we get to see all of the chamber chicks.
So thank you so much for joining us. We will catch you next time on Coffee Break with the Chamber Chicks.
See you, love you, bye.